Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tharsis. This is actually gonna be a bit weird doing this post commentary because I've actually already recorded the next episode and it's already uploaded. And this one was actually this was actually an episode I was just playing in my spare time, but I actually ended up doing pretty well. So I was like, I was recording the footage anyway, may as well just do some post commentary. So after that successful last run, turns out we unlocked the pilot. So I thought, let's try the pilot, and so that's Yuri, which is Russian name from memory, so that works out pretty well. So yeah, so the pilot has the pilot's ability is that he cannot take movement damage, which is not as useful. But it certainly can confer some benefits in the sense that like say if you've got a tricky to reach spot, then the pilot is definitely useful in that sense, and in my opinion, the specialist is probably the most replaceable person, and mainly because it's sort of like it feels like an extra dice roll doesn't really have as much of an impact as some of the other abilities that everyone else has. I mean, it's like the captain, for example, like being able to give one dice to crew members in the same space is a huge help, for example, especially based on one die. So, and yeah, it's thinking about how much value these additional abilities can confer in that kind of assistance. So we've got the usual. It seems like we always start with like two repair, like two modules that we need to repair. One's like 20 something and the other's like less than 10. So I think of course when I'm talking I wasn't really paying attention to the screen. Still, most of my logic is fairly straightforward, fairly easy to follow. It's not too difficult in my opinion. So but we'll find out really. And so here I've just put the pilot and just managed to repair everything, which is actually probably the result of some lucky dice rolls. And just quickly skipping the cutscene because I still haven't found how to do that in the options menu, which is I'm not even sure there was something in the options menu. I should probably look that up. Well, moving on, so we're done for 1 week, and then we've got one food, minus 1 dice, or plus 1 health crew, or minus 20% stress. This was a bit of a tricky decision. And actually, I just noticed one thing in that a pilot cannot go lower than 1 dice, which is interesting actually, because that's impact on some of the decisions we can make. So we've got 2 fairly repairable components. And thankfully with 2 food we've got everyone up to an appropriate level of dice in order to just really get things repairing and so on and so such. So a doctor just got an injury in which we luckily had an assist. And yeah, I'm just sort of wondering whether I actually should re-roll. And I'm not, so it looks like I've actually gone ahead and re-roll, and we've got a 6 which fits our niche fairly nicely, and then the 2 we can put down to research, or we could probably try and harvest food, but I really don't like gambling in that sense. I feel like having stuff in research projects is a much more better guarantee to put it that way. So with our mechanic with 5 dice, I think my next move was to put the mechanic in the medical bay, because it makes the most sense since with 5 dice, you're definitely most likely to clear the 11, and at the same time the mechanic is also someone that can actually like use the extra dice and actually take advantage of the health recover, as well as putting 1 to the ship. So with 4 6s, that is definitely more exceptional, a very lucky dice roll. And I was being an idiot and tried to put 3 into health recovery because I didn't realize you need a 5 or higher. But yeah, I'll put the 6 into research because of the same reason as before. It's that if you can put additional higher dice rolls into research as soon as possible, that definitely makes sort of reaching some of the bigger research projects much more easier. So with that, we've got nothing to repair, but we still got 2 inactive people. I think it made the most sense to aim for food, to create some food. And possibly at the same time we could put some additional dice to research. So we're rolling a double 6 with Yuri. It made the most sense to put the 6 into food, and then we were just going to reroll and hopefully get some numbers that play to our advantage. So here I was basically using the research kit to, just using the research just to get rid of dice so that we don't really waste any dice. Because if you look at it that way, sort of just conferring 1 health to everyone is still in the long run overly useful, so it's like not something that has to be particularly not something that's particularly too worrisome. So with the captain, I'm giving everyone else an additional dice, which I think is a good allocation of resources. And obviously, it makes sense not to try and roll for 6 to get an additional piece of food, because it's I feel like I get more benefits with actually putting the dice into research rather than the dice being wasted, because I was aiming for food. So at the end of another week, we're kind of at the point where like, giving food to someone would have just wasted dice, but, so that's sort of why I sort of decided to keep the food for the rainy day, and, because I was pretty much gambling on the chance that nothing too bad would happen, but I suppose it's one of those things that you can't really control. So here, because I've got the captain in with 2 others, it made the most sense for the captain to distribute 1 dice to, everyone else, but here with 2 voids, which make things a bit tricky to decide, and what am I doing? That's a bit better, past me. So repairing the whole thing first make the most sense, mainly because just trying to think. Make the most sense so that if we re-roll the dice, the void would not affect us. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to really like give anyone else some additional dice, so it's wasn't too much of a loss, really, in my opinion, so it's not really too much to worry about it. That's it. That this huge repair needed here is definitely something a little contentious, and with here I've got another lucky roll with 2 6s and a 5, so nothing else can be said, so it was just mostly, alright, well, yeah, let's deal with that. And then, alright, and the rest is pretty easy sailing, so I will admit here I've had some lucky dice rolls, which really made handling some of the earlier and future issues much easier. I think one thing I've noticed is that it's very easy for the what am I trying to say? It's very easy that if you've got an error remaining and everything else will just keep stacking on unless you stay on top of everything, or unless you that's sort of where the game could get really punishing, because like say if you left something behind and it just becomes much more difficult to deal with it in future. So, and that's where it's sort of partially answering my question of whether the game is completely winnable. But I think one of the things that throughout that kind of thinking and discussion is that to think about is that to think about is like, especially if you have like, I mean, it's pretty obvious that if you get continually shitty dice rolls, like all ones, for example, then, it's probably going to be much harder, if not impossible, to deal with everything. And obviously, if, like, you roll all 6s all the time, then, I mean, the game will be pretty easy to beat. So, I guess, again, it's sort of in thinking of average. If you had average dice rolls all the time, so maybe like 3.5 all the time, would the game be consistently winnable? That's sort of the question I'd like to answer. So I'm not sure how to sort of just describe that in a general theoretical form, but that's definitely something I'll sort of just be figuring out, taking a look at my footage and my videos, and just sort of just seeing what happens, why it happens, how it happens, and that sort of thing. So it's another week, and we're having the doctor go first to repair the I don't even know what the modules names are, which is kind of embarrassing, but having the doctor there is first make the most sense because the doctor was already there, so we definitely wanted to avoid having movement damage, and got another couple of good rolls, so with a 6 and a 5 and a 4, so we probably don't want to reroll all that, and of course I was just trying to figure out how should I distribute the dice, and so we had one remaining to, just boost up the health for two people, the doctor and Kayla and Yuri. I should probably use their names as well. Right, so next is just one area, but with two injury dice, which is certainly a bit worrying, so it sort of just made me wonder, okay, which one should I put in first, and which one should I just, like, try not to, injure so much. So it made sense to put Yuri in there, mainly because, mainly because you had the most HP. So if I had a shitty dice roll, then it would not. I mean, like with the chance that someone else would die, then obviously you had the least chance of dying as a result. So with another lucky dice roll with the double six, we were able to repair that pretty quickly, which leaves the mechanic and the captain both with 5 dice each to just really get into making the ship a better place to be. And again, with another lucky dice roll with triple twos, we get a lot of ship HP, which would definitely help us in the long run. And with the captain, yeah, sure. Wait, what do I do with you? Food or assist? See, I was thinking assist because, again, assist is one of the things that's useful to bank and to sort of just keep in mind for like the future sort of thing. So yeah, it's kind of tricky at the moment because the other thing to think about is that if I remember correctly, you get 1 assist at the start of every week, and but if you go there and you roll a 5 or greater, then you get 3 assists. So it's one of those it's one of those things that you will probably want to do like halfway through repairing everything. So yeah, I've got a cheap and locally grown. Don't remember what that was, but that allowed me to unlock. I think it was that allowed me to unlock the next character, which is Joy. Yeah, I think her name is Joy. So again, we still got 2 fairly manageable modules, although the one with the big injury, with 3 6-injury dice is definitely a problem. But thankfully, we've got amphetamine as our research project to deal with the injury, so that kind of just became a non-issue fairly quickly. So here I'm sort of just like trying to figure out what to do. Then I remember having a lapse of memory at some point in that. Done a decision that could have been better, but nevertheless, rolling the double 4 means that having additional food would be nice. And yeah, so this was the lapse in memory. It was like, okay, I've got these dice that I can give everyone health, and then I can get some food, but I've got to repair the goddamn, I've got to repair the place. So not that it's much of a big deal. What I wasn't aware of before as well was that whether amphetamines would like, if it would prevent injury across like the whole week, or just for that one module only, because it was definitely a very expensive investment, so that's definitely something you want to be careful with. So, another couple of lucky dice rolls with the captain. We've got that area healed up and nothing to worry about, and we a 5 and 6 in our research points, so that's working out pretty well for us, and I don't really have much else to say about that. So we've got a bit more questionable dice rolls this time round. Thankfully, rolling a 6 is not really much of a problem, and I think we'll just see what happens. So yeah, they're both blocked, and yeah, that's another lucky dice roll. Looking back on it, I should probably do post commentary a bit more, because then I can actually talk about and actually just watch my gameplay and actually see how much of my game or how much of my success is due to lucky dice rolls, and how much in other and how well I was able to handle some other things. So here I rolled a double 4, which is really not all that great. So I was just like trying to think, what should I do? And the dice ended up going to waste, which is not really much of a big deal now that I'm kind of in a good position with the ship. So yeah, I think the choice is fairly obvious, because we've got 4 ship HP, so plus 1 ship won't really do much. I remember experimenting, it was in either this video or the next video, that it was what am I trying to say? That if you have 4 ship HP, you can't like bank additional ship HP. So it makes sense to go for the assist, so that because it was more beneficial either way. Otherwise, would just be getting some people stressed out for nothing. So 2 big 26s, both with doing 2 hull damage, and so that's certainly got me stuck thinking for a while. I'm just trying to think I'm just wondering what I did then, and what I would do now. I will probably put someone in the medical bay first, or I will get Pacal to prepare his section, because like if I move Pacal, then he will probably get hurt. So I think here I was just trying to figure out whether I should put Jean or Kayla into the medical bay, and yeah, this one obviously had me stuck for a fair amount since you see my mouse moving around, but I'm not thinking anything, not doing anything, so it's a bit tricky to really figure out what to do then. So I'm just gonna wait and see if I finally make a decision and how long I made a decision. But alright. So this is that's one possibility I actually considered. I was going to put Yuri into the assist bay, or at least Yuri had the option to go straight into the assist bay if we needed more assists. So that was something I was keeping in the back of my mind. So with that, Doctor first, because health isn't really much of an issue at the time, so wasn't something I was worrying too much about. Here with 3/4, this is actually a tricky decision because with 3 dice you need I mean, if I roll triple sixes, you get an 18, but trying to get a 15 is that you need at least three fives as well, which is, well, maybe 2 sixes and a 4, which is a bit tricky. So I wasn't really willing to risk the additional dice rolls because it's like 4 is already higher than 3.5, so it's already good enough for me. And so that was kind of the reason I just chucked all that dice into the repair and just didn't want to deal with it too much. So with that, it looks like I'm thinking of moving Pacal and losing 1 health, and just repairing the place. It also gives Pacal an opportunity to contribute to research. Although I'm just gonna take a look at and see what I've done here. So it looks like a 1 to research. Everyone gets sedatives. Okay, yeah, because this was something I was yeah, this was something I was sort of just reeling around in my head over, because Pacal couldn't repair the ship because the ship is on full HP already, so sorry, I shouldn't say repair the ship, give ship additional hull thingy. So yeah, but in addition, he also had the option of healing Pacal up to full health if I had another spare dice. So Yuri is now doing time in the... Did they even have the name of the system in here? The laboratory, there we go. Alright, so with the 6/5 and a 4, repair is going pretty well. And here I'm just trying to figure out, oh yeah, it was a 3 and it's kind of lower, so we had a better chance of rolling a higher number, but instead we rolled a lower number, so I was just let's put it into research. So moving on, we'll just have the captain deal with this, we'll help the captain deal with the laboratory, and I think that was done pretty easily. Although it was not great that we rolled a bunch of 2s and a 4 as well, so ouch. And yeah, this was, I actually wasn't paying attention to the dice that was stacked, and as a result, we got a pretty crappy dice roll, which was, I was like, ugh. So I was like, okay, you know what? No big deal. I've got plenty of hull. I'll take the damage. We'll deal with you next week. So, and because everyone's still doing fairly well. So, with that, okay, so no movement damage is pretty nice, but 2 health, 1 dice for a crew. I think, I'm trying to remember which one I picked, but okay, it looks like no movement damage. Well, I guess it's probably because -1 dice crew is a net loss of 4 dice, which is not that great. And here I was thinking, okay, well, I've got this extra 3, I may as well, that's right, I was thinking because we had some leftover damage, it was best to give Pacal and Kayla some additional dice, even though it's 1/3 of the food would go to waste, because basically we just needed the extra dice to be able to deal with everything. So that's kind of the logic I went with there. So thankfully with this, could be repaired by 1 dice, which leaves some additional stuff for research and other things. Although I was really hoping for a 5 or above for Jean, so that we could give Yuri an additional dice. So, and even with this, I couldn't do anything with the research, which was kind of frustrating. So I thought to shuffle it then, and I think that's actually worked out pretty well for us, because I'm just trying to see what I did now. So yeah, quick patch, snack, and call home. All very useful options for just getting rid of some common, I don't want to say common, but it's more useless dice. So you've got a bunch of 1s and 2s, then it makes most sense to really, yeah, it's And I was just thinking there I was testing whether the additional one dash was actually going to apply to the captain or someone else, and which was it. It's a bit weird with some of the research system because it's like it's definitely doesn't do much to like help explain how some things work. So you kind of have to learn them, discover things by trial and error. But at the same time, maybe you want to like do the best possible option. But sometimes you want to have the best possible options and hence the best possible performance. So here we roll 2 6s, 6 5 and a 4 actually, but with 2 stasis, which is actually not all that great. But here it was like, okay, well, let's just let's just see what we get, and then that will pretty much get us to figure out what we do next. So with that, thankfully we've got some lighter research modules in which allows us not to have any dice go to waste. So I'm pretty happy about that. I think here we just aim to repair the modules that have the most ship damage, which, oh boy. This is where I was thinking, okay, my luck is definitely running out, so... But thankfully we were able to repair that component. Only taking 2 hull damage, which is really not all that bad, and so here, yeah, I'm just... Well, Yuri could go in either, but I think it made the most sense for her to put Yuri in the control box, with the flight control module. So, because it was definitely easier, although rolling 2 6 and getting injury was really not all that great. So here I was just thinking, and then I realized I had the duct tape module, which is the middle research project, so that actually made it easier to replace the 2 and actually replace it with a 6. And so now I've got two module repair thingies, which is going to be very useful. If you're good with your research and your banking dice, then those can definitely be very handy, especially with some of them. So here it made the most sense to give everyone a dice, because then we have 3 people topped up at 5. Everyone also had plenty of health, so it wasn't really that much of a problem. And definitely I still wanted to avoid cannibalism whenever possible, because basically the problem with cannibalism is that even though you get 2 dice, the stress jumps right up. So unless you've got some way of dealing with all that stress will ultimately lead itself to like end of the week events, which are not preferable. Like basically you get like crappy returns. So yeah, cannibalism is kind of a weird mechanic. I'm just trying to think how else they could have designed it, because it feels like it was just shoehorned in. But I mean it's still an interesting mechanic. Anyway, that aside, here I was thinking, okay, well, we'll take use of that auto repair thing, and get a mechanic to heal the ship, and just put some extra stuff to research, and also healing the mechanic back to full HP, which is definitely very useful. Rolling the additional dice allows us to contribute that towards research, although definitely there are some dice rolls where it's just like, no, I just put a 6 in the research and I just roll another 2 6s, and now I can't use them because I've used them. So, which is especially one of those things that can be a little infuriating, but nevertheless, that's just kind of the reality of RNG. So, let's see what I did here. Very lucky roll with 4 6s. And so that really allowed me to actually take a look at the reduced stress mechanic, and so Kayla is like very chill now. Very chill. So that kind of just worked out well in our favor. Again, yeah, I can definitely say now it was definitely more luck that won this run. So I'm just gonna quickly just do a little something, but our captain's taking 2 damage, and that's gotten me very scared, but thankfully with 2 6s, another lucky dice roll, that we were able to not worry about that so much. So I didn't observe the research project that I just took on, but definitely helped me clear out some dice, and you know, it's actually interesting. We've actually managed to catch back up, which is obviously very handy. So here I'm wondering how well you. Okay, so here again I'm sort of just like cheating again, and and just use but also allowing myself to bank the additional dice so that nothing gets particularly wasted. Now, let's see what happens here, and I think. Alright, so okay, so 1 through and plus 1, yeah, look, sorry, it's kind of an editing issue. I was just like, I don't remember where the game paused my save file because my computer crashed in the middle of this game, so I was like, okay, wait, I don't remember what I did, so nevertheless, we'll keep on going. We're lucky to have another MCC override, which actually makes things pretty handy, and but where the captain is, 2 and a 5 as an injury dice really not all that preferable, so it would be nice to have the MCC override just help deal with most of that damage, and but we'll definitely like to bolster people's health a little. So I think here I kind of just established that with this setup it's probably easiest to have the doctor start with most of them, but I still don't really have any solid theories / recommendations for this, although I will say that was a fairly unlucky dice roll in that we get stasis and 2 injuries, so that really put our doctor kind of just not being all that particularly useful. But here I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm all the supplements. Wait, why did I even do that? I don't even know. I think maybe I had a memory lapse at that point and forgot that I was supposed to be repairing the component, but nevertheless, I don't know why I was thinking there. Anyway, moving on. So, just trying to think what I would do next. The airlock leak with 26 and 2 injury dice. I think that's definitely. I mean, the problem we're dealing with that with the captain was that obviously the captain's health was not very high, so yeah, the captain's health wasn't particularly high, so I was very unsure about what to do. But here with, oh god, another lucky dice roll, Yuri can pretty much repair this place pretty easily, so I was just like trying to figure out, okay, how should I distribute my dice? So I think, yeah, with 2 5s and a 4, I healed, because if we had 2 6s then, that's right, because it's one other thing to think about is how many dice do you need out of the current lot to fully repair one module? So, and sometimes it's like you can repair this with 2 dices, but your chances are fairly slim. Other times you can, oh, that's some really bad damage taken by Pacal there. So, and yeah, this definitely left me feeling very apprehensive, and but thankfully, I'm just gonna see what I do. Wait, why? No, I think that's better. That's better possibly. Put the 5 into repair instead of ship repair, but putting the double 2s into ship repair would definitely be handy. And why am I putting that into research? God damn it, past me. It's funny because, alright, I'm an idiot. MCC override, of course. And here I'm just gonna take my chances and succeed. Thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. Because I can't crunch the probability in my head, but sort of just rolling like double 2s or 2 and a 5 or double 5s. Definitely, there would be one. There would be 3 and 36, so 1 in 12. Okay, so it wouldn't be too bad of a chance, but definitely something that could have happened, worst case scenario kind of thing. So it looks like we're getting back to speed again, which is, you know, very very comforting actually. So, and with our last captain, with our captain yet to go, I think. Okay, let's just take a look. Well, the 10 is easily fixable. But I think here I was like thinking, okay, we got the 1 dice to the stasis, we can't really use up the 1 in the research unless we plug in some other dice. So for me, it made the most sense to put the 1, 5, and 4 into repairing, and then using the 6 to give 1 additional dice to the captain and to Jean and Kayla. So yeah, this again is a decision thing, but I think that definitely made the most sense, and I wish I could sort of explain it in a more general abstract theory, but that's not something I've really got to sort of just like lock down so much. So, final week, I was like, well, I couldn't really make it. Oh, that's right. With the final week, I was like, I wasn't really thinking about the food, but at the same time, it was like, okay, well, you know, the food's going to be wasted, but it doesn't really matter because it's the final week and we may as well just move everyone down to flight control. So, yeah, so overall, still a fairly successful run, which I'm very happy with. And obviously the ship can take the damage, so we're just going to move everyone to flight control and not sacrifice anybody. Not necessarily, not unnecessarily sacrifice anybody. So here it made the most sense to actually put Yuri in because he won't take damage and to activate the no movement damage bonus for everyone else. And there's really not much else to be said here. It was like, okay, you know, we'll just do more research, we'll give everyone some health and just use up the dice whenever you can. Not that it matters, because it was just literally a matter of just moving everyone in and just rolling the dice and just finishing the deployment. Although, definitely in this video, I could have just done that more quickly and just not really overthink the, yeah, so, yeah, in some ways, some lucky dice rolls, which, and, I don't really have much else to say. The decision making is fairly solid, and in my opinion, and I feel like I can definitely rationalize my decisions with sort of just general probability, with at least with regards to the dice roll, but also in sort of resource management as well. And that's sort of one of the things that really appeals to me about this game, in that the sort of like the resource management, when you sort of just look at things that are happening, you think, okay, can I better use this resource for something else, or can I take a chance and hopefully opt for something better? So here we can't actually use the repair one module, so it's just like, oh, well, whatever. We just, because I mean, ultimately, all we can really do is put the dice towards research, but of course, there's really not a lot of research to be done, and some of them are just not entirely necessary. So it's like, yeah. So, moving on, how he ended up past me, we just rolled the dice again, because I think I'm an idiot in thinking that I had to finish rolling the dice before I could actually finish deployment, so I was just like, oh, you know what, I'll just have some fun with that. So, but nevertheless, we'll just wait for the ending cutscene to go. And, of course, I almost skipped the ending cutscene, but, yeah, it's this was definitely a satisfying run, but again, some lucky dice rolls there. I definitely would be interested to see what would happen or how my decision would have changed if I had some different dice rolls. So yeah, I'm still enjoying this game, and I'm enjoying, and I know I'm getting closer to sort of just answering my own questions about whether it's solvable or not. I mean, whether every game is winnable or not, and I think the obvious answer is no, but at the same time, I still sort of enjoy this game in the sense that, so it's just sort of the RNG that sort of makes it fun. So, yeah, I'll still keep playing this for quite a while. I don't know how much longer, but I know I'll definitely get sick of the RNG at some point, like I do with the Binding of Isaac. So, with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.